There was another great collection of cars on display at the 2010 MCACN show. It was the Yenko Nova display. And the Yenko Deuce was a Chevy Nova that was modified by the famous Yenko Chevrolet dealership. And it sported a custom stripe package in bright colors and a high-performance V8 under the hood. But they came in a little bit cheaper than the Camaro. So if you didn't have the bucks to buy a Camaro or a Yenko Chevelle, you could go home with a Deuce. And the story was that they were also regarded only as Novas by the insurance companies, so it was cheaper to insure as well as buy. And at the 2010 show, they had one of almost every color made, all laid out on display. It was really something cool to see. We've been talking a lot about the GM offerings at the MCACN show, but there's certainly a wealth of Ford products, Mopar stuff, and of course Shelby's. And they had the Shelby Snake Pit on display, which is a place where they had a whole bunch of very prominent Shelby Cobras and Mustangs from every generation where you could walk up and check them out. And these again are cars that most of them were all very original, historically significant, and in some cases one-of-a-kind cars. One of the Shelbys that caught my eye was a GT350 that's actually powered by a Boss 302 engine. It's supposed to be the only one that ever came with this combination, kind of mixing two different Ford high-performance cars into one strikingly cool-looking blue Mustang. Very cool to see. Corvette is part of the middle name of the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, and it is one of the best Corvette shows you'll ever see also. They have a whole range of very cool Corvettes ranging from very original, low production, ultra rare cars, lots of early big block cars, 4-speed cars, big block 4-speed air conditioning cars, any crazy option package you can think of, you're going to find one at the MCACN show. And some of them have ultra low miles or have barely ever been driven, in addition to some cars that have been restored as well. This one's pretty cool. It's a 63 Z06, a big tank car, which was designed to be a race car with an increased fuel capacity. Again, not a car you're going to see every day, but certainly something you can check out at the MCACN show. Another celebrated Corvette on display at the MCACN show was the Baldwin Motion Phase 3 Corvette. Now this is a radically customized Corvette sold through Baldwin Motion Chevrolet. They didn't make very many of these, and they had a huge collection of them on display at the MCACN show in a variety of different colors. You could see the radically altered rear body panels, the separate front nose with different headlights, and of course, big block Baldwin Motion Phase 3 power under the hood. Extremely rare cars, something that most people will never see one of up close, and here's a whole bunch of them on display. Pontiac fans were well represented at the 2010 MCACN show. Here's a great looking example of a really pristine 69 Trans Am. Of course, the white and blue paint stripes, the rear wing, the whole Trans Am air extractors on the side, ram air hood, ram air V8 under the hood, that classic blue interior with the burlwood accents. Just a beautiful car, and stood tall amongst all the rest of the really rare muscle cars on display. There was a 69 ZL1 Camaro, again, probably one of the rarest Camaros you'll ever find on display. All aluminum 427 V8, just a terror on the drag strip. They made 69 of these cars back in 1969, and this is kind of a preview because for 2011, they're going to have that whole field of at least 15 real ZL1s on display. Now this show isn't about just showing perfectly clean, restored muscle cars. Check out this barn find Corvette. Now this car is an example of something that was literally found in a barn and just dragged out and put on display so people can see what it looked like in its current state, which is super cool. It's a rare option car. It's got a lot of neat stuff on it, and I don't know if the owner intends to restore this one or just clean it up or leave it as it is, but survivors are a big part of this hobby, and it's cool to see them. AMC made a whole bunch of very cool muscle cars back in the late 60s, early 70s, and this show had a whole slew of AMXs and Javelins and even some Hurst Rebel machines on display. So this is an all-encompassing show for any make or model muscle car, they'll be there. One of the most outrageous muscle cars from the 60s was the '69 Charger Daytona. This was the wing car. These cars were designed to go on the super speedway at Daytona, 200 plus miles an hour, and they have this aerodynamic nose cone and high wing in the back to keep them stable at high speeds. And this particular car was done in B5 blue, which is a great color, and it's wearing the white stripes. It's got its original numbers matching engine, transmission, rear end, all the wheels are original. It's been restored, but it is a time period correct, very cool example of a Charger Daytona in a rare color. And man, did it draw the crowds. So if you're into this sort of thing, you want to make the time to come to Rosemont, Illinois, right near Chicago, for the 2011 Muscle Car and Corvette National Show. It's November 19th and 20th. It's right next to O'Hare Airport. It's easy to get to at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. Come see all the Yenko cars. Come see the class of '71 muscle car display. Mark Stilo will be there with his Red Devil and the Mule Pro Touring Camaros. In fact, we're going to have two cars there. Our '69 Firebird Rowdy that we built last year and our '68 Camaro Reloaded that we're building right now for the SEMA show will both be on display. So come on out, check all these cool cars out in person, pick up some memorabilia, meet the famous people behind the muscle car movement, and you can learn more about this show at MCACN.com, MCACN.com.